Someone said, "Why am I gonna pay $500 for a picture of a hobo?"
I always thought Kyle Beckerman was a good player.
Fire sticking their foot in it.
They said they were going to cut my food rations.
Cork soaking.
There is no possible way to articulate the malaise, the lack of ambition, the way it's felt for so long to be a fan better than he did. Welcome back, and on this episode of the Enemies of a Fire podcast, we are going to be talking about the U.S. Open Cup debacle. We are going to talk about scab referees, and James would like a deep dive on some of these players. So, with that said, I am FC Neo Tokyo. That is DPG. That is James. And gentlemen, what is up?
Woo! Let's go. Got a lot to talk about. I'm going to kick it off with and just tell you who I saw at the airport. You guys would not believe. You guys know I went traveling this weekend. Okay. You wouldn't believe who I saw at the airport. I saw 2 Chicago Red Star players in their kits.
Oh, no way.
You'll never guess who. It was Sam Kerr and Julie Ertz.
Wait a second. So you were really traveling.
I was traveling, and all of a sudden I turn and I'm like, oh, is that Sam Kerr? And then I look next to her. I'm like, is that Julie? Why are they in their Chicago Red Stars kits? I thought they weren't on the team anymore. I was very surprised.
Well, I mean, free swag is free swag, no matter who you are, right?
Sometimes I still wear my old stuff from my old jobs
to
walk around the house. So it is what it is.
You also might still be able to catch him there if you stop by baggage claim number 7. So don't be a stranger at Midway.
Isn't it wild that the Chicago Red Stars had the best women's player in the world on their team at one point?
It's wild that they're still advertising it.
Fair. And then
she's been off the team since 2021.
Man, I really feel like, and this is my personal opinion, as much as somehow MLS got lucky enough to really take hold, I really feel like, and I'm going to butcher it now, I don't even remember what the NWSL, I'm pretty sure they really screwed up and missed their opportunity.
There's a new women's league coming.
Well, that too, they got D1s. So USL, like the W League, basically got D1 standing, as well as NWSL, which is like what happened when we had NASL and the USL, where they both had Division 2 standing there for like 2 years. It's a mess, and it's a total missed opportunity. When we had the epicenter of women's soccer, we treated it like minor league, and then Europe said, "Oh crap, let's get serious about this."
They caught up real fast, didn't they?
Real fast.
Yep.
I mean, there weren't teams that could compete. Now I feel like NWSL teams wouldn't be able to compete in the Champions League. I really don't think they would anymore. And I don't know. I don't even know who the Red Stars have anymore. Like Yuki's gone. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
To go further on that, back to the men's side of it, it's just the problems are now being exposed on the men's side with MLS's rejection of the U.S. Open Cup and now trying to make some sort of only 8 MLS teams are going to play. And right now, that problem is blowing up in their face with all the fans. I think it's with all the fans. Like, we're all like, all right, I didn't really care too much about the U.S. Open Cup, but I still think it should be played. It's a quality game. It is a worthwhile game. It is way more worthwhile. I'm more likely to watch a U.S. Open Cup game than I am a CCL game. But here's the thing. That's not.
Or even a League Cup game.
But I'm not or a League Cup game. But I'm not everybody, because there are a lot of Liga MX fans out there who would be chomping at the bit for that type of opportunity. So I mean, apples to oranges there. But
it's crazy because we live. We support a team that's one of the 10 or 6 even that care about the U.S. Open Cup. Like, we super care about it. So to me, this is just a sad development, because I really do like the idea of the second division teams beating the big boys, You know, I like when they get to come play at the big stadiums. I like when our guys got to go play at a small stadium. You know, it's just,
like that. It should be
Yeah.
the little guys go, the big guys go play at the small stadiums. Bring the fans with you, so that way the other team could get those tickets and those. I mean, that's what they try to do. I think
Yeah.
over in England, and like those create those special environments that I've watched on TV, and I'm seeing Arsenal go against this lowly little team, and like all their fans are all shithouse, but they're all having like the greatest time of their life, even though they're getting killed by Arsenal. They're like,
It's crazy you mentioned that because I think I read an article one time where you had one of these like national league teams over there in England, and I guess they drew a Premier League team, and they were like, oh my god, they were like super happy because of the income they were going to receive from the television deals, from all the away fans coming. It was pretty much just gonna
that could fund their promotion.
yeah, exactly. That was gonna
That one
fund their whole
game
club.
could fund their promotion, and
You know,
that's the joy of it. I think,
and that's the mess of American soccer. Like the fact that is not here. And now you have, as you just talked about, there's 2 D1 statuses now going to be out there for women's soccer. Pretty soon it's also going to be the case for the men's league, because MLS has basically just separated itself from US soccer with this decision, with some of these, because it's going against the US Soccer Federation and fighting them on these plays.
Well,
it's now bigger than the federation but isn't the English Premier League bigger than the FA? I mean,
yeah,
I want to say
it broke away. That's how it. That's how it exists. It broke away from the football league. That's why it even exists.
Well, here's the thing, and if you look at it from a business standpoint, you're gonna make more money from CCL games, especially when you're playing against Liga MX teams.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna make money off League Cup games because you're obviously playing against Liga MX teams. But then you also look at the U.S. Open Cup, and it's like you're not really gonna make money. The only teams that might bring fans are usually the MLS teams, but that only happens late in the later stages of the tournament. And at the same time,
should we let the Liga MX teams into the U.S. Open Cup?
No, I don't think so.
Is, you risk losing players through injury. It's tougher for teams that have to participate in the CCL, the Leagues Cup, the U.S. Open Cup, and they still have to worry about the regular season. So I could see it from that point of view. If you're like an LAFC fan or an LAFC, part of the LAFC coaching staff, where it's a headache. You're like, oh my god, we're gonna have to rotate so many times.
So send the second team. Yeah.
But then you look at like us, the Fire fans, we love it because you know what? There's only 3 tournaments we play in. Besides, actually,
we never play in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
we've never made it to like CCL, right?
So it's either League Cups or US Open Cup, and I will take US Open Cup over League Cup any day of the week.
Well, here's the big problem. Here's our biggest problems. It's kind of twofold. Leagues Cup was awesome last year, and that the problem is it was only awesome in a bubble. It was like a good World Cup. Like it's not going to be good every year. Just last year it was really cool because Messi delivered on every game. He played amazing. He didn't get hurt instantly, and they won. And like the games were good. So it's like it was a hit. But that's the problem. It's almost like, cut off your nose to spite your face kind of thing, right? But here's the biggest issue we have, I think, in the world of soccer. Don't get me twisted. I would love more than anything pro rel. I mean, it's wild to think a not giant, but a big city like Detroit is in the 3rd division of soccer in America, right? So
why couldn't they march their way up to the top division, right?
Well, they could,
because they need investors.
Well, but this is what I'm getting at. The problem is I want pro rel. I want the US Open Cup and no Leagues Cup. I want CCL to be awesome. I love seeing Joe Public play Monterey, right? Like I love the CCL. I that's why I hate the idea of when people want to merge CONCACAF and CONMEBOL. I hate it because I feel like the better we get, we raise up people like the Honduras gets better, Costa Rica gets better, Mexico stays better. You know what I mean? Things like that. But here's the scary part is I feel like every league in Europe that we cherish, and they have the FA Cup, and they have Pro Rel, and it's beautiful. They are spending every minute of every day trying to find a way to make the MLS system work where they are. It's not America is never going to adopt soccer the way it's meant to be. The rest of the soccer world is going to fall into the NFL model, and that's kind of sad.
A lot of things, and you're right. I agree with you on that. If you want that vision, there's a lot of things that need to happen. First and foremost, you're going to have to separate MLS from the owners of the teams. Like, pretty much just tell them, hey, you're on your own. You're in charge of your own finances. These are the roster rules. That's it.
And no longer are they an individual entity or whatever they claim to be.
No longer. And the thing is, for an owner, for example, an owner for Joe Mansueto, he wants that.
Yeah,
he's only top 15, dude. How many teams are in there in MLS? There's 22 or 30. 26?
30.
28, 30?
No, there's 20, there's 28 or 29.
28. Well, Joe Mansueto's only number 15 most richest billionaire.
But that's because he wants to put in money. He'll put in money in the team.
He's definitely spending money. I mean, Kuipers was 12 to 14 million.
But then you look at a team that's a small market team, like your Colorado, to a certain extent, even New England.
Yeah.
Those guys don't want to spend money. I mean, those guys they're happy where they're at.
That's wild that Boston is a small market team, you're saying.
Well, Robert Kraft doesn't want spending.
And they have Bruce Arena as their coach before all the hubbub.
Which we still don't know what happened with Bruce Arena.
But it seems like he's getting reinstated.
That wild.
Oh, you heard about that BS with what's his face? The Philly player? Wagner? Wagner?
We were going to get to that. No punishment, basically. No freaking punishment for Kai Wagner. Kai Wagner.
Yeah.
Unfreaking believable. But
they should make him a lot more expensive in MLS fantasy.
Dude, he is the top-rated defender in MLS fantasy, by the way.
I know.
He was the number one defender as far as price. Mm-hmm. And it's just and then people are getting pretty excited about Van Zier, and I understand there's times where there's cultural differences and you don't understand things, but then there's also bullshit, and this seems like some bullshit. I guess that's my take on that. But oh man, long live the Open Cup is what I say.
Long live the Open Cup, but that's not the only thing. That's not the only thing that MLS has been doing a little weird lately. I'm watching this Miami RSL game off the side here as we film this podcast. Last 10 minutes here. Messi is up 1-0, and I'm looking at this referee who's definitely refereed before, but he is not an MLS referee. What is going on with that?
I'm ignorant to the situation other than the fact that the referees are striking for money. And to be honest, due to my food poisoning, I didn't pay attention to how much they get paid, but whatever it is, I'm sure it's not enough.
It's not enough. And I think I read somewhere that, they usually have to fly coach. I think they're only allowed to maybe out of their 70 flights or whatever it is, they're only allowed maybe 2 or 3 flights where they get to fly on business class. And
they're a business, right?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. And so they want 25% more money.
How do you think Nelson Rodriguez flies?
First class.
Definitely not on Spirit.
Is there a clown suitcase that he just he probably just goes to the check-in, climbs inside of his clown suitcase, leaves it with a check-in tag, and then the attendant's oh, somebody must have left this. I'll put it on the plane. And that's how he gets to places.
Yeah. You're right. He's such a cheapskate. He probably hangs out at the airport for 6 hours waiting for someone to cancel their flight.
Yeah. No, you know what? Since he's Don Garber's buddy, he probably rides with Don Garber in his private jet.
Do you think he has a soft spot for Chicago, or a hard spot?
No.
I hope not. He is the harbinger of death, dude, because he is the one that killed Chivas USA, which needed to die, but you didn't need to tell the whole league, look at this man is gonna take this to the end of life for this team.
Jesus.
And then they gave him to Chicago, ooh, you guys don't know what you're doing here. He knows the league. And that dude, he just basically just robbed the covered blind and left. And then Joe Mansueto has had to dig through all this bullshit.
Yeah,
But
clean house, by the way.
yeah, for real. And then Nelson, and then he's behind this U.S. Open push for the Major League Soccer teams to not be involved, which is just so stupid. But anyway, I'm sorry.
I do have an Enrod story though.
Oh God, no.
We'll come back to that after,
right.
and come back for that Enrod story after these messages. We'll see you guys on the other side.
I think there should be a clear difference between incidental fucking reckless calls, but there's not bad reckless fucking calls. There's one bad fucking reckless call. Do you know what I mean?